Hello, guys. Welcome to another edition of the All In Real Estate Podcast, hosted by your guy, Jody Mateo, here, trying to provide a little bit more information, guys, on everything that's going on with the market, everything that's going on with real estate. This is a very, very exciting time, guys, to not only jump in and invest, but these are the best times to kind of go in and look at the market and establish yourself as an investor. If you're a new investor, seasoned investors, we try to make people understand and kind of grasp the idea of real estate investing in a down market. And a lot of, a lot of people, sorry about that, a lot of people has try to come in and still um, envision themselves as flippers, and they have one set mindset of what's real estate. But real estate is a variety of things, and today in this episode we're kind of talk about a little bit about our first deal ever, the first deal that we have done. It was a two family over here in the state of Connecticut, a two family. And I'm excited. I'm excited to share with you guys kind of like the whole deal breakdown, what it took for us to get into the deal, and kind of an overall understanding on where the market was at that time and where the market is right now. So initially, when we started looking for investment properties, I was looking for the right market. Me personally, coming from New York, it was really difficult for me to envision myself as a real estate investor, just by the fact that the market that I was in was overpricing me at the time. I didn't qualify. My mother didn't qualify, her being an immigrant. My brother neither. So we really didn't have a lot of understanding of what it was going to take for us to kind of jump in the market and get our first property. That's why we started looking outside of the state. And initially, one of the first places that we looked for to invest was New Jersey, just because of the fact that it was right outside of New York. We had the margins. The market was not as hot as it is today. It was still a lot of competition, yeah, because it's a pretty competitive market, the same as New York, but it's a little bit on the downside because you could still find duplexes and single families in the area of Patterson and Elizabeth, New Jersey, for right about 250, 300K, which was not a crazy number compared to the numbers that we were looking at in New York, that were between a two family for 600, $700,000 at the time. It was insane. And as the market went on and prices started surging and surging, things actually got even worse. So we started looking outside. We went through Albany, the markets of Albany, and we was just looking for months. It took me about 6 months to finally make the jump into a buyer, into I'm out there really looking to buy. And I prepared myself really, really well. I read, I listened to podcasts, I did everything that I could in my power, everything that was on my hand available to kind of make the jump and make the right decisions to invest and make an investment soundly, which is the best thing to do. The best thing to do is go at it with the numbers, but there's one thing that you cannot do, and it's locking yourself into a mentality that it has to be perfect. It can be perfect because it's real estate, but it's all about the exit strategy. It's all about the plan that you have for each property that you try to get into. And I'm going to jump in on that, guys, a little more further later on in the episode, because a lot of people, they stay in the mentality of it has to be a perfect deal. It has to be 100,000. It has to be 200,000. And when you get into a mentality like that in real estate, it becomes a pretty hard thing to kind of go out and accomplish that goal right away. It has to be that you're looking at numbers realistically and not kind of screwing yourself out of good deals that you go and find out over there, because you can make you can't make $200,000, which was what your mentality thought you was gonna get. We can get fixated on that. There's a bunch of ways to make money in real estate, not only with the cash out refis, leases to own, sub two, seller finance, hard money loans, a whole bunch of stuff that you could do, and there's about a bunch of stuff that I didn't know at that point, that kind of opened up my minds as I was going through the process of owning more real estate, finding more deals, and kind of getting my feet wet. And I wouldn't have been able to learn and know all of that stuff at the moment if I didn't jump in at the right time. There was no way for me to get into my next step, which was actually a commercial unit or a residential building that actually catapult us to another atmosphere of what is an investor, and what was supposed to be an investor in real estate. So I'm kind of gonna break down the numbers so you guys can have like a little bit of an understanding of what was my mentality going through the process of getting the property first, looking at the deals, getting the real estate agents. So at first, when we was first looking at properties, we got asphyxiated with three families, and I knew from the beginning that multifamily was the way to go. For me, multifamily, I come from a background, like we spoke on the first episode, I come from a background of being an assistant property management for over 500 units, and my mentality from the beginning was, wow, like there's really power in numbers. There's really power on you being the owner to not only one unit where you're more inclined to lose if you only have one unit. I know there's workarounds. A lot of people make money. There's a lot of portfolios for single families out there. I'm not saying that it's a bad investment, but for me at the moment, it was not the right investment because, like I was saying in the first episode, it was the initial money, the initial funds. The way that we got them was by selling our childhood home with my mother, and it was tough. It was tough to make that jump. It was tough to kind of look at a deal and say this is the right one, that we're not gonna lose our money into it. And me having no experience, the trust that was entrusted in me. I always appreciate that from my family, that they entrusted me into coming in and actually making it happen. And today we're just here, making more changes and making it happen even more because I'm doing the outreach and I'm getting myself out there to not only become a better investor, but provide knowledge in what I'm doing for you guys, so you can learn and that not only is this doable for you and you can change the life for your family, but that you can actually become an investor. You can actually become the person that you had in your mind ambition. You had this vision of you being bigger, of having bigger things for yourself, and you can definitely make it happen. It's just about the right mentality. It's just about getting prepared and doing it. I'm a big believer on you have to do it. You have to throw yourself, even when you find yourself in a tough spot. You are in that spot, and that's only gonna catapult you into doing better things. Because not only are you gonna be in a situation where you're not comfortable, but you have to be normal with being uncomfortable. So that's kind of my mentality always in going into things like that. But going back into the initial purpose of the episode, which is breaking down 21 West and breaking down my first investment property, a duplex that we found in the city of Waterbury. We was looking at a bunch of places, and we decided in Connecticut because it was closer to home. It was the taxes, benefits, even though they're a little high, they're not as high as New York and New Jersey. So for me, that was really enticing from the beginning, from the jump. It was a no-brainer. It was either Massachusetts, Boston, or Connecticut, one of those two, because I didn't want to be 5 to 10 hours away, but I also didn't want to be 30 minutes away where I knew I was gonna buy a property for $400,000. So initially my mentality was that. So the purchase price on this one was $90,000 at the beginning. When we first started to offer, we offer $75,000. and we stuck with that offer. They came back to us. They rejected us, and they was willing to negotiate. But from the beginning, listening to my mentors and the guys that have actually bought a lot of properties and the guys that I was learning from, and those times where Jerry, I was listening to a lot of Jerry. Jerry was like, I was all in on Jerry's episodes and all the real estate, and how he used to go about owning and getting the real estate and offering the contracts. So I stuck to my guns. They went on the contract with somebody else, so they actually had another buyer that went on the contract. They took it off the market. So after we went, and they took about 3 months entirely to for the other buyer to kind of come in and try to perform on the deal, and he ended up not performing. And we just swoop in, we start with our guns, and we got rewarded. And that's my main mentality for all the deals that I go in, guys. I set a number down. If it's 100,000 and my numbers are saying 100,000, I'm staying on 100,000, because I know that's the number that I need to have in order to make my investors, not only the people that invest with me, but also the people that are relying on me and are relying on the deal to be a good deal, to kind of go in and make the money that we have to make. So we stuck to our guns. At the initial, we was estimating that the house will have an appreciation of about 200,000. Got it under a hard money lender, and how you guys know how my hard money lenders are, or if you guys know, you guys are new to the channel, new to real estate. Hard money lenders, they loan the money out at a really high rate. They charge you usually a lot of points, and usually flippers and us real estate investing, that's the main course of action that we use, the main lenders that we use to kind of jump into deals a lot faster and get funded faster, because there's 30,000 hard money lenders out there just looking for people to lend. And you just have to find the right one. There's a lot of them, and one thing that I will say about hard money lenders is, be careful, guys, with how you go about finding a hard money loan, a hard money lender. Please, guys, be very careful. If your lender is telling you that you need to deposit any type of amount of money to them, then that's a scam. Usually everything is done through the lawyers, and do not pay out anything to anybody that is not your lawyer. Escrow is the best way to have your money saved up. If you have any transaction in real estate, if you're going through anything, your lawyer is the first person that has to have the money, and then you relay that information to your lawyer and you go from there. If you make any type of deposits, any type of payments, any type of money exchange with somebody online you haven't met before, you don't know this person, you just never know what could happen. So a good way to save your money, a good way to not lose your money, is put your money on escrow, guys. Please put your money on escrow. So like I was saying, hard money loans usually are a lot expensier than regular loans that regular, as far as conventional FHAs. They don't inquire a lot of the points that hard money get, and that's mainly because of the amount of time that they give you to get funded. They don't typically ask for a lot. They just looking for the right deal, and does the deal make sense? And if the deal makes sense for them, then it makes sense for you. Then they'll approve it all the way. You have to have certain specification with your credit to get just a little better rate, but usually it's a pretty standard rate, 10, 11, 12%. Even now with these times, is it's right around that price. At the moment, before, we had a 8% interest, and that was in 2020. So in 2020, we actually went the hard money route, and we ended up getting $75,000 plus $30,000 in construction. A good thing about hard money lenders is that they'll not only fund your deal, about 80% of your deal, of the purchase price, about 80% of the purchase price, but that they also will fund full 100% of your construction. And I have my concerns on that, with the draw system and everything else. You have to pay sometimes even $500 $600 just to get that reinspection and get your money back, which is highway robbery. But I guess all the banks are doing it, so we have to do it unless you have some kind of genie and magic, and you got a private money investor full of cash out there. And if you do, please recommend them to me. But yeah, guys, it took us a little over a year and a half to refinance this deal, and there's a lot of things that I wish I would have learned in that time frame. Being so new, and that's why I tell everybody, do the most research that you can. And not only that, get into real estate investing, guys. Just do it, because you sit in the background just waiting on the deal to come through, then waiting on the financing and how you're gonna get the financing and how you're gonna pay for. Most of the time, most people that I meet are more worried about how they're gonna pay for it than actually the home and actually the investment that they make it. And that's a 100% mistake in part of everybody that is, whether you're looking at videos, but that's 100% a mistake. First and second and third, always the deal. Where are your numbers? Are your numbers working? Do you make money on the deal? Is it cash flowing? One thing, is it cash flowing? That's the main concern, guys. Is it cash flowing? So, we kind of took a year and a half to refinance, and that was mainly for the construction. Like I said, we asked for about $30,000 in construction. We used about 26,000 roughly, but we did something wrong. That was, most of the money that was invested in the property was invested in the one unit. That was the unit that was empty at the moment. The bottom part was it already had a tenant in place, but the second unit was completely messed up. We needed to redo the entire thing, new kitchen, new flooring, everything. So that being our first investment, what we actually did was we went all out. White cabinets, $5,000 cabinets, $6,000 cabinets, and it wasn't even a flip, guys. It was not even a flip. It was a buy and hold. And we went through those mistakes, and it took us a long time to refinance. We had to ask for extensions, and every single time with a hard money lender that you ask for an extension, it's actually more money that you have to pay them, more added to your points that you have to pay at the back end. So kind of a thing that I'm going for right now is that if I do a hard money loan, I usually try to start my refinance within 6 months. Even if there is things to work, I try to have my properties, as far as the rentals, if they are buy and hold, just the rental, just kind of just going through the rentals fast. Don't invest a lot of money in rentals, guys. They just gonna mess that up. They're gonna mess up the units. Things are gonna happen. They're gonna have kids, and if you put $5,000 $6,000 cabinets in a year, in 2 years, they are going to be destroyed. It's just a fact. And it was a fact that it was tough for us to understand at first, because we was coming from managing properties, and usually our motto was the tenant complaint we resolve, because it was a management company, and that's what we were accustomed to. And we got into the mentality of, wow, we have this cash, we have this money also that they're giving us, plus the money that we have, and it's like, wow, we have never seen money like this before. And to invest in one property, it was our first property. We were like, wow. So we did go, we went all out with the flooring, we went all out with the new windows, everything, guys. And it ended up hurting us on the long run, because we took more than a year to do the renovations, and that really put a hold on everything that we was doing when we tried to refinance, because time was against us. And every other money lender or every other loan that we tried to get, they knew that we was going against the time, and they squeezed us. And that's the fact of the matter, guys. If you guys don't do things with time, if you don't plan ahead, if you kind of going with the motion, you could get screwed in any deal. And I'm glad that all of that happened to me on the first deal, because it made us understand it taught us a lot. It made us more aware of the time frame and the people that we was actually working with, on not only being on top of them, but changing our whole wiring mentality of what it means to be an investor, a buy and hold investor in a down area or a little bit on the more gentrified area. I would not say it like that, but I would say it's a less than middle of the packed area. But it's still, I love the town. I love the investment that we have been able to accumulate over here in Waterbury. So I would never, ever, ever discriminate against that. So, we wasn't able to pull out as much money as we wanted to at first. So we initially invested about $32,000 to get into the property as a down payment, and with that it came $30,000 draw system or draw money for construction. We also had a little bit of money saved up that we invested at first as initial capital to kind of get the ball rolling and the construction rolling. And we wasn't able to at the moment to pull out the cash that we wanted to pull out, and that hurt us, guys, because we invested roughly around 35,000 plus the plus the 30,000 that we initially invested in the deal for down payment. So we was kind of in the hole for about with our money, it was about 40,000, 45. And because we took so long with the construction, we took so long with everything else, we actually was only able to pull about 27,000 out of the property in our first refinance, because usually refinance goes for 75% or 80% of purchase price. It depends on the type of lender and also the type of property that you own. If it's more than four units, then it's gonna be 75%. You will not be able to get more than 75%. If it's residential, then you have a lot more room to play with. They will give you the extra 5%, but it's honestly the best thing. Residential. I have still with residential. We bought one commercial, but so far so good. As far as the residential side and what we was actually able to do and able to pull out, because once we did the first one, we renovated. We kind of went through the process of putting in a tenant. We put a really good tenant in there. He's still there. He's still going strong with us. One of the things that killed us at first, you will say, okay, why you invest the 45,000, Jody? Why 45 if they already gave you 30 for the property for kind of like putting up as construction? So the reason being was we actually encountered a tenant that was not paying on the first floor. So the tenant in the first floor stopped paying the rent, and that was really hard for us, guys, because not only did we was down already 32, about 35,000 with the initial. We also had to overtake the amount of payments that we were making to the Harmony loan, which was already an 8% loan. At that time, the interest was between 3 to 2.94. So 8% was like ridiculous at that time, and we kind of took that over. We took that challenge, and we said we stuck to our guns. We was like, what, we working, we making it happen. This is our first property, and we're not gonna let nothing ruin it. That's the mentality that we have from the beginning. And I think a lot of the investors that were in with me, my mother, my brother, shout out to them, here from the All In Real Estate Podcast with your guy, your host, Yori Mateo. I was really thankful for them because they understood. They were able to look at the situation that we was in. We was able to assess the situation in a group. That's one thing that I tell everybody that is getting into real estate. Please be careful with the people that you get into. Make sure that your interests align, that you guys have the same mentality when it comes to investing, whether it's short term, long term, and any type of investment that you guys make. You just have to make sure that the guy that is in with you is 100% there to back you up at all times. So we faced that negativity. We was able to overcome it. We was able to evict the tenant and get the tenant on the second floor. Once we did that, we waited about another year to do another cash out refinance. At the time the house came up, for 187. So I was right at the numbers that I wanted to be. And the last cash out refinance that we did was this year on that property, where it appraised for over $220,000, even better than what I was expecting. But that's real estate, guys. That's when I talk about appreciation. Wait for that appreciation, guys. Decreasing your payments, you are out there getting that appreciation, getting 3.5%. And over here, it was an insane appreciation that we saw, where we saw everything go up 34% year by year, which is insane. You never see those type of numbers on a regular term of real estate. Usually you see between 6, 7, which are the top 10%, 11%, 12%, and 3% is like kind of the average that you're gonna look for in year to year increase on your property. So that's the good thing about real estate. You always making money. You out there paying your rent, paying your mortgage. You're making money while you sitting in your house, looking at it, looking at the numbers, and looking at everything kind of go down. So I'm really glad that we was able to do that first investment. And we went through it, guys. We went through it, but like I say, it's all about the right investor, the right people that you got with you, the people that you bring into your circle of investing. What people do you want? What investors do you want? What are the investors that you're looking for? Are you looking long term? You're looking short term? Are you looking into short term rentals? That's the type of niches, the type of people that you have to attract for your business to be successful, guys. Number one, if you're gonna get into a partnership, be in the right mentality with them all times. Okay. Another thing was working with family members, guys. Working with family members is crucial to starting a real estate business, because those are the people that are going to believe in you first. The first people that are going to believe in you is your family members. When they look at you, if you're young, they probably look at you, oh, yeah, well, you're not really going to do nothing, but you have to show it, you have to prove it. You have to sit down, you have to walk the walk, and you have to grind it. You have to look at videos. You have to know that what you're studying, what you're kind of trying to assimilate to other people, or kind of the message that you're trying to push through, that your family can understand, and that they know that you are actually invested into learning and to doing things the right way. At first, for me, it was really difficult, guys. I was at all party every single time, every single weekend, not saving, not doing nothing. And, that hurt me, because while I was, spending my money out there like crazy, going to clubs, making, stupid decisions, my family, my brother, my uncle, they was out there investing. They was out there with the right mentality of, hey, how do I get rich? So when I'm 30, I don't have to move an inch. I could be in Punta Cana sipping a margarita in the beach. I don't have to be killing myself in a construction site, working 8 to 9 hours and then being called with an emergency. That's not what you want, guys. Not when you're 30, not when you got kids. And I don't know if most of the people that are gonna see this video probably have kids, and you might think, hey, I already have kids, I got responsibilities, I can get a house. What the heck? Why am I gonna get a house, man? You are your own, failure, guys. You have to get out of that mentality. Your mentality is key. Mentality is key. Even if you have a kid, you can make it happen. You can be successful. You can be the person that you want to be. And that's key. So don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on the things that you want to do. Just know that there's people that actually believe in you in there, and your family is key for that. The one thing that I will say about family is, before you get into anything with them, please make sure, like I've been saying in the episode already, guys, please make sure that everybody's in the right mentality. Everybody's in the same place or where we want to go. Even if those things change over time, it's better to kind of stop the ball and say, okay, we're not investing no more, and we're stopping it right here, because we're not seeing eye to eye. It's easier to say that than not talk about it at first, and then you in the deal, and then this guy wants to sell, you want to keep going, and it's a whole war. That's what you don't want it to be. Communication is key. Communication is key, and more when you're dealing with family where temperatures can rise, and people get hurt. People get hurt because you want to say the truth, but here you go. I'm giving it to you the way it is. So I appreciate you guys 100% of the time. I'm out here. Don't think that I'm not paying attention. I have my notes right here. I want to make sure that I'm as prepared as possible for you guys. So please don't mind me looking down sometimes, making sure that the audio is working. Me, new to this, trying to make it happen. But I'm glad that you guys are here with me today. Thank you, guys. One thing that I forgot to mention at that time, and why it was that the tenants stopped paying rent, it was mainly because of the situation that was going on at the time, COVID. I know a lot of you guys suffered through that with your families. I don't know if you guys lost family, or you was just going through the motion at that time of being home, staying home. That was one of the main things that kind of pulled me into real estate. Me staying home without being able to go into a job, and just me being home. I'm like, I can't stay home doing nothing. I have to make it work. I have to make it happen. Making it happen. Number one thing, making it happen. Get out there, guys. So I started doing a lot of research, and kind of was able to navigate through the whole process of having a tenant that was not paying rent, having a moratorium that I knew that there was no way that tenant was going to pay, and I didn't know when she was going to pay. So that's why it's always good to jump into every situation, every single family, every single property that you try to get out there, like you have a moratorium, because you have to have at least 10 or even 7 to 10 to 15 grand just there sitting, just in case anything happen. Guys, be prepared. That's the number one thing about real estate. If you're prepared, you're a winner. If you're a winner, you're gonna make money. That's the deal right there. If you're prepared, you will make money in real estate. Simple as that. And that's the message that I'm trying to get across here. That you have to have a little bit of buffer when you go into any property, because you just don't know what may happen. You all of a sudden might have to change the roof, all of a sudden you trying to close, and then they find mold in the basement, and you have to go through more remediation and pay $4,000 out of your pocket before refinancing, and the effect that could have in your company while you're trying to refinance and pay all your bills. So all those are things and variables that might happen, that can happen, and that you need to be prepared for. Because this is the thing. People are putting money in your pockets, in your hands, to navigate through all these things. And you're the real estate investor. You're the one that needs to be prepared. And I can't emphasize that enough. Of being prepared, of having the right mentality, and making sure that the people that are investing with you have the confidence that you're going to make the right decisions. This is key. Making the right decisions is key. Now, errors happen. You are a rookie. You're a rookie. And the best way to handle situations is by communicating, having a lot of meetings, and kind of having your investors involved as much as they want to be. Because you don't want to force it on them, but, they kind of making an investment, so they have to be. But, you try to communicate and trying to get your point across, and always keep in contact. So like that, if anything happens, you're secure, you're protected. Nobody can tell you, hey, you didn't tell me this. Hey, listen, this is a business. This is a business, and business don't succeed on the first try, on the first go at it. Everything, all we could do is be prepared to kind of have everything that, we know that might happen. If they happen, we prepare. So all I can do is prepare myself, prepare you guys as investors of what's going on what's happening on the properties, on where we are as far as the refinance and what we're doing, and that's pretty much it. That's all you could do, guys. So yeah, definitely. That's one of the points that I wanted to get across, and I'm sorry that this has been a little bit like stational bullet points right here, and I'm going with emotions right now, because we are about to be 45 minutes in to this podcast. So I appreciate you guys for being in, for staying tuned. And I get the opportunity to speak to you guys and give you the knowledge and the experience that I have been able to acquire in these 2.5 years of me investing in real estate. So definitely appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna keep reiterating that I don't know how to speak English, guys. So I'm Dominican. I'm Dominican. Help me out there. Help me out there. Having investors mentality. Dive in the investor mentality. Wow. So this is pretty much what we've been talking the whole show, guys. Having the investor mentality. What is being an investor? What is having the investor mentality? Well, having the investor mentality is all we spoke about just now. Being prepared, making your numbers work, not budging into anybody's agenda. You stick to your numbers. You stick to what you believe in. Forget about the house is nice. Forget about this house has new boilers. Forget about all of that. Stick to your numbers and make it work. And that's the number one thing. The number one thing is that. Also, guys, the refinance part, key. Try to at least refinance within 6 months. As soon as you have the first 6 months, go on your investment property. Start the refinance process. If you're refinancing, if you're selling, then that's another whole different situation. You could just put it in the market. So adjusting to the market. One thing that I will say, guys, about the markets and the way that they change is that if you're going to keep investing in real estate, please make sure that not only are you aware of what's going on in your market, but please be careful with the type of investment that you make when the market is high. So when the market is high, we just went through a whole kind of 2 years of crazy appreciation on the properties that we haven't seen in a really long time. And people might think, hey, this is how real estate is, and we're gonna get 34-35% every single year on our investment. No, that's not gonna happen, guys. The market will literally adjust and adjust on you like that. You have to be aware of where you're putting your money and what type of investment you're making. Investing is not about the right now. It's about the 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 year mark. Where we're gonna be at then. You're buying a house $380,000 right now in a hot market where you knew a year ago the houses in that market were 200, 180. Well, guess what? Once you go and market kind of resets, you're going to get screwed. If you can't pay that mortgage or anything else, then you're going to have to sell to somebody like me that's going to come in sub 2 and it's going to take over your mortgage. And most people are not aware of those methods of sub 2. And they kind of close themselves into thinking, oh, yeah, the only way for me to make money is selling. No, the way to make money, there's a whole bunch of ways to make money in real estate as you selling your property. I'm talking in the seller's mentality. So as you're selling your property, be open. Be open to anything, because sometimes a sub 2 deal will be better than a cash deal all day, every day. Somebody with cash may come in at 180, 170. You selling for 250,000, and a sub 2 could tell you, hey, let me get you the 250 that you want. Give it to me on terms 2, 4, 5 years, and let's make it happen, man. Let's give you your 250,000 that you desire. Let's pay you interest on top of that. For your equity, we're gonna pay you interest. Do you know how better that is? You're looking at interest. You're looking at having a $250,000 purchase or selling price that you wouldn't have been able to get if you had the property for sale. You would probably get like 230, 220, or with a cash buyer, 170, 180. So, we have to be open to those things. And the last thing, guys, don't waste time. Don't waste time, guys. That's key. You want to make sure that you you catch the moments when you can catch them. This is a perfect example over here where we have a down market. A lot of people, I have investors that have been sitting on cash saying, I'm looking for the market to drive to buy my first investment property. And let me tell you something, guys. It's all about the numbers. I might just keep saying this over and over and over and over and over and over again. The market is key when you have the right numbers, when you know that your rentals can work, when you have a different exit strategies. So don't waste time. Get into real estate. If you're gonna get into real estate, jump in. Don't wait until the right deal comes to your lap. No deal is gonna come to your lap and give you $150,000 on your first deal. You have to look for a realistic price. It all depends, honestly, because you could jump in real estate, make 100,000. I'm not saying that you can't, but most people stay in one place. Most people stay in one mentality, thinking that, hey, if I don't make 150,000, this is not a good deal for me. And that couldn't be more wrong. That's where people fall into a place of complacency, and that's where they die right there. They get desperate. They look for any deals then, and they end up having a crazy badass deal on their hands that they go in and they jump into it because they was just waiting for too long. And hey, the market now is picking up, so I have to get a property, and that's when they get screwed. So don't get screwed, guys. Jump at the right time. Make sure that your numbers make sense. Don't waste time. Use our money lenders if you're gonna go in. If you're just gonna do a straight buy, then you could get a little bit more conventional. If you're a little bit more experienced, you could do a DCRS loan and make it happen. Thank you guys again, and this is the All In Real Estate Podcast by your host, Jerry Mateo. Thank you so much for being tuned in, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.